Alright folks, welcome to your first book lesson this year. Alright, so how this works is you're going to pull your notes out for where it says book lesson, which is right after the lesson that we did today, or that we finished up the other day, I should say, all the radical stuff. And you're going to see that this handout, where it says book lessons right on it, and it is for standard 1.2. And it's just adding or subtracting polynomials, and it's something that you guys have done before, so I don't want to lose a bunch of time in class just kind of reviewing. I just figured it's easier for you to do it at home, and then we can do more important stuff in class tomorrow. And stuff that you haven't, you're not as familiar with. So this is how we're going to work it. I'm going to go over the vocabulary really fast. I'm going to go over a couple problems, and then you're going to try the rest on your own. So this first page and second page, whatever I don't do with you, you're going to do on your own tonight for homework, and then go over it tomorrow class, okay? All right, vocabulary terms. Monomial is a number, a variable, or a product of a number of variables. So basically, it's just a single term, right? So like the number 4, or the term ABC, right? Because it's a product of variables, right? A times B times C all together. Just one term, one single term. A polynomial, and I'm going to change this vocabulary just a little bit. There's a couple definitions out there on polynomials, and I think I like this one better. I'm not married to the one that I wrote on yours. So the polynomial that I have is defined as a mathematical expression of one or more algebraic terms. So a monomial is a polynomial, okay? And then there's two types of very specific ones. There's called a binomial or a trinomial. All right, a binomial is a polynomial also, but it has two terms that are separated by an addition or subtraction. So 4x minus 7, or 302xyz minus 20xyz squared. And notice they're very similar, but they're not like terms. They're not like terms because they're not exactly an x, a y, and a z. The second one has a z squared, okay? So they can't be combined. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Okay, a trinomial is a polynomial as well, okay? But it is an algebraic expression with a sum or difference of 3 terms. So binomial is 2, trinomial is 3. And this is the typical one you're going to see. It's infamous this year. It's x squared minus x plus a constant 4. Okay? Now, I say that word once, constant. Boy, I'm stuck on 4s, aren't I? I see a bunch of 4s on my paper. Okay, a constant is a term without a variable. That 4 is a constant. It means there's no variable, no letter multiplied with it. It's just the number. All right? That's a constant. The coefficient is a number or constant quantity placed before and multiplying the variable of an algebraic expression. So let me do this one. If I do 6x to the 4th minus 3x to the 3rd plus 5x squared minus 1, right? It says, remember, a coefficient is a numerical or constant quantity placed before and multiplying the variable of an algebraic expression. So these, in our terms, really, I know it uses the word constant in there, these are coefficients. Okay? If I can spell it right, it's right in front of me. This is right. And that is a constant. Okay? Coefficient is the number basically attached to the variable. And the constant is the number that is all by itself, doesn't have a variable attached. Okay. A degree is the largest exponent. So the degree for that problem up above would be 4, because the largest exponent of that example is 4. That's a degree. Okay? And standard form is where you write a polynomial from greatest to least as far as the exponent. So this one that I just did up here, that's written in standard form because I put the largest exponent first down to the constant. The constant goes last. Okay? All right, so let's take number 1 here on the bottom. Write each polynomial in standard form, list the degree, and type of polynomial. Okay, so I'm going to put it in standard form, which means I have to put the x to the 4th first. So this is 9x to the 4th. Then the next highest exponent after that. And every time I write one, by the way, I cross it out. So I know I've covered it. I don't leave any one out. The next one is going to be positive 6x squared. That's the next highest. Then I write it, cross it out. And then last is that constant. That is standard form, peoples. Okay? Degree, highest exponent, that's all degree means. And the highest exponent is 4. And the type, it is a trinomial because there are 3 terms. Anything above 3 terms, we just call it a polynomial. All right? So, for example, that one up here, I keep pointing, I got all sorts of arrows for this guy. 6x to the 4th minus 3x cubed plus 5x squared minus 1. That is a polynomial. Okay, we're just going to go with poly. Anything over 3 terms is a poly. Okay? All right, you're going to do 1, B, and C. That's going to be all you. All right, after I shut down here, you're going to do that. Now let's get to the stuff you know. You've heard this before. This is combining like terms. Okay? Combining like terms is really nothing more than just adding anything that has exactly the same variable. Exactly the same variable. Okay? So I'm going to look at 2a. 2a is going to be my tricky one because I actually put something in there first. Before I combine like terms, you should see that there is multiplication here. So I want to whip through this real quick. We're going to do multiplication with some exponents tomorrow, but I want to give you a little taste of it today. All right, so when I multiply, because all the rest is combining, right? I got a minus and a minus, a plus and a minus. But this first part's multiplying. So when I multiply, I do negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. And then if you remember, x to the 3rd times x to the 2nd. You guys did like, you did bases. So if I said 2 to the 3rd times 2 to the 2nd, you did bases that were numbers. I'm doing a base that's a variable. I'm doing, instead of instead of a 2, I'm going to do x's. But when you guys did this last year, because I know you did, remember you keep the base the same and you add the exponents, right, to the 5th. So it's the same thing here. You're going to take x to the 3rd and x to the 2nd, and you're going to make it x to the 5th. Okay? All right, so now that I got that, and we got to do things in standard form, right, peoples? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do negative 12x to the 5th minus 9x to the 5th because they're like terms, and I've got the highest exponent first. So negative 12 and negative 9. It's negative 21. And when I add or combine, I don't change the exponents. Only when I multiply. Okay? Now, used them, cross them out. So I know I used them. Then I go to the next highest. X to the 4th. X to the 4th, there's 2 of them. And you read it just like this. Negative 8 minus 1/4. So negative 8 and negative 1/4 or minus 1/4 is going to be negative 8 and a 4th. X to the 4th. Crossed them out because I used them. And the only one left is plus 4x, and it has nothing to combine with. Okay, so see why I'm crossing them out? Make sure you've used every single term, right? Every single term. I'm going to let you try B, C, and D. I'm going to tell you a little something about C, though. Make sure that you do a distribution first, and then you can combine like terms. Okay? And I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to give you, I'm going to let you do 3. I'm going to do 4. 4 is subtracting, and it's a little bit trickier. And there are 2 methods. One's called a vertical method, one's called a horizontal. Now, I look at this problem right here, 4, and I say it's pretty much already horizontal, right? Meaning it's written across, okay? Just kind of like the horizon. When you look at the horizon, you're looking across, right? Vertical is where you're up and down. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to, there's a big catch with this one. There's a minus here. You're going to distribute that negative because it's got parentheses, which means you've got to distribute it. Now when I say distribute, you're going to say a negative and a positive because that's a positive 9. Make a negative 9t. And then a negative and this positive are going to turn that to a negative t squared. And a negative and a negative are going to make that a positive 9. Okay? Now, why am I doing that? Well, come back here for a second. Let's slow down just for a second here. When I say to you here, oops, let me try that again. I want to try that one. When I say to you that you're going to do this minus this, right? That trinomial minus that trinomial, you literally have to look at it like this. You literally have to go 5 minus negative 9. 5 minus negative 9. I often worry, and you guys do, because I've seen it for many years, you forget about this guy right here. And you literally, a lot of you guys will just go 5 minus 9. And you'll go, oh, well, 5 minus 9, because you're just going to combine like terms, is going to be negative 4, and that's wrong. You forget about this negative. So by forcing you to distribute the negative, I have essentially done this for you. Come over here for a sec, right? A negative and a negative make a positive. So in Baytrail, you learned 5. 2 negatives make a positive, so 5 plus 9. And then you do 14, right? Or some of you have learned, I don't know, maybe 5 minus negative 9, and you think of the number line, and you don't, whatever. I'm telling you to avoid mistakes and errors that I've seen over and over and over again. Just distribute the negative. Change every single sign inside that parentheses, and then you can take away the parentheses. So that positive 9t is now a negative, that positive t squared is now a negative, and that negative 9 is now positive, right? Every sign flipped. And I can drop this set of parentheses because there wasn't anything in the front to distribute. There's nothing here, right? So I just drop them. You just drop the parentheses. I don't have to change any signs. Okay, then we do just what I did up above. We combine like terms. I take the highest exponent first. Negative t squared and negative t squared is a negative 2t squared. And then I cross it out. And then I go to the next one because I'm doing standard form here. And that's a negative t, which is really a negative 1, by the way, peoples. And a negative 9 is a negative 10t. And then I combine them, I cross it out. And then I got that 5 and 9 still. And we did that over and over again. You know it's 14. Okay? And there is your answer. Now, if by chance you wanted to do the vertical method, just as fine. I use the horizontal a ton, but there's nothing wrong with the vertical. The vertical just does this. You take the first 3 terms and you put them in order from greatest to least. And then you do that to the second term. And don't forget you still got parentheses there with a minus. You still have to distribute that negative, okay? But I put the t squared, I changed the order, and I put it from greatest to least. And I line them up underneath each other so it's easier to see. And then this is a Mrs. Reese thing. What I do with, and I do it in Algebra 2 a lot too, because we're doing something with long division, and they have to do this right now all the time, is I tell the kids, distribute the negative, and then you don't even have to drop the parentheses. Just do this. Show your work by doing this. Put a slash through, like a sideways slash, so that becomes a positive. And then that negative goes up there, that negative goes there, and then that sideways slash goes there. So you know when you look back at your notes, oh yeah, this was a negative. Oopsie. Oopsie. This was, it keeps trying to grab the paper. This was a negative, but I distributed it by doing that little sideways. That's just your way of going, oh yeah, I distributed. I would have a little sideways slash there. And then you combine like terms. And I got a negative t squared is a negative 2t squared. A negative t and a negative 9 is a negative 10t. And a 5 and a positive 9 is a 14. And oh my goodness, it's the same thing. It is. Right? 2 different methods to do the same darn thing. Okay? Alright, that was your, just shy of 15 minutes. Of course, I'm probably going to talk to enough where it's going to end up being 15 minutes. But you've got it. This is it. you've got to finish the rest. That's your homework, okay? Make sure you're distributing here, hint, hint, and distributing that negative, hint, hint, before you combine like terms, okay, for that last one. All right, so the front and back of this page, do all the questions we did not get to, which are the ones up here, the adding one down there, and then these three down there, and then the front, the bottom part. Okay, and you're done. Have a good night. Oop, I said I'm going to be over 15 minutes, and I was. So hopefully you found this okay too. And I will be happy to answer any questions tomorrow when we get in class, okay? All right, see you then. Bye.